Okay, now that we're switched around, going to give you a tour here. This is the, first of all, this is the guest house where people who come and stay and do mission projects for a week or so will often stay. Sometimes they have groups of doctors who will come down and work in the medical clinic, which is actually right over there. And they have some pretty good equipment in there, and again, doctors will come down maybe 3 or 4 times a year and work on folks. Over here is the cistern that they dug when they first arrived about 25 years ago. This mission, Notre Dame mission, was founded by Father Glenn Moe, who is currently still here running it. He is an SOLT priest, and this mission was originally founded by them, but it's since been taken over by Cross Catholic International. All of the buildings that you see over here as they kind of sweep around the campus, these are all of the school buildings where the kids come and take classes 5 days a week, basically at no charge. The mission pays for all of that, and they have about 800 children that come here. Over here is the principal's office and the administration office where I was working a few days ago doing some data entry. But the kids, maybe I'll get some video footage of the kids tomorrow, but they are just awesome. And I didn't want to film them when I first got here, but maybe they'll let me do that tomorrow. So you have all of these different classrooms. They're open air because you basically never have anything other than rain, but it's not hardly ever accompanied by any kind of driving wind or anything like that. So they just have these open air classrooms. They're obviously a little cheaper to maintain, and you can see some of the farming equipment that they use. A lot of the classes are geared around agriculture and teaching the kids some of the newer techniques about how to stretch the soil and get more produce. Back in the back there is kind of the rectory where Father Glenn stays, a little bit off to the side, and rightfully so. It's a nice little shaded area so he can get away if he needs to. Over this way is well, I thought maybe, okay, we could just kind of look here in a classroom. You got your standard chalkboard there and some of the lessons from yesterday that are up. Over here, not only is it a school, this missionary site is also goes out into the community. It's a kind of, this missionary is kind of walled off for security, but they go out oftentimes. And so over here, well, right there actually is the church. That's where we have Mass every day, and we just had Mass today on Sunday, and they had about 600 or 700 or 800 people here. Most of them outside here in these other outer chairs, and it was an awesome Mass, obviously. They're planning to build a church here in the not too distant future, and getting ready to do a campaign for that back in the United States, so that'll be really neat. Here we have some of the sand, and this is used to make concrete for the houses that this missionary builds out in the community. And so this sand needs to be sorted before it can be made into that mixture for concrete. Then over here is actually the carpentry shop where I worked yesterday, and they build the gables there for the houses, and those are actually the 6 gables that I helped build. It was a lot of fun. The carpentry of the local guys who this missionary employs to build these items were obviously pretty amazing to watch them work, and I just kind of tried to not get in their way too much and help out where I could. But a neat thing that I've learned about the missionary too down here is that they employ local people. They utilize obviously the local people to help work here and then run the missionary outreach efforts. So really there's only one non-local, and that's Father Glenn, and everyone else is from around here, and they do all of the work. So the guy who runs the mission and the business manager and all the employees, the people who go out and build the homes, so not only are they doing good work, but they're employing a lot of people, and that's obviously a great thing as well. Over here we see some of the folks getting ready for getting the kitchen cleaned up. This is a big open air kitchen where they make the school food for the kids each day, and they serve about 800 children one meal, and that's for almost all of them. That's the only meal that they get. Rice, I actually helped serve the meal when I first got here my first day, and it was 2 hours of handing out food. But the rice, we had rice and a little bit of noodles on top in their bowl, and that was actually considered a luxury because rice is pretty expensive, and so they only get rice 2 days a week. So that's pretty hard, obviously, for most of us to imagine in America. But over here is at the far end here to the far left end is where they build the fires, and that's where they cook all the food with open air fires. So here's a familiar sight for most of us. It's a John Deere tractor that they have here, and they've obviously acquired all of this equipment and like a cement mixer there over the past 30 years. This is the guest house for any visiting priests. They have actually a chapel up there where the Blessed Sacrament is reserved, and a place where you can say private masses, and that's actually where I'm staying, up on the top floor. Down below is storage for the mission, and then back here you have a bunch of different animals, chickens and goats and so forth, running around. These are the outhouses where anybody uses the restroom. Some of the houses and offices have running water and toilets and so forth, sewers, but they make the kids come to the outhouse just because there's so many of them, and the sewer can't handle that many students. Here are some of the chickens. There's also a lot of guineas running around. A lot of times they've seemed to conspire to all get together and try and wake me up every morning at 5 a.m. right outside my window, and they make a lot of noise. Contrary to popular belief, I always thought roosters would make their noise one time when the sun first came up. Nope, they do it for about 3 hours. And there's also, again, a lot of guineas they running around. But anyway, it's been a really cool thing to stay here. And so they obviously raise this livestock as well. There's a lot over there. There's a big garden, huge garden, where they're trying to plant and use the technology to make more, stretch the ground and get more produce out of the land. So there's just a lot of amazing stuff going on here, and it's been a great opportunity to be here, and I look forward to sharing this as much as I can with people, and helping spread the good news about all the work that's going on here. So I hope you have a blessed Sunday, and look forward to getting back to the United States and seeing those of you who I'm able. Please pray for us and the missionary work here at Notre Dame Missionary in Corbinal, Haiti. God bless.